In September 2023, I set off on a crazy adventure to help my 77-year-old friend Steve realise a lifelong dream of hiking 230 miles across the Scottish Highlands. We knew the trail would take us through some of the most remote and wild landscapes Scotland has to offer. And although the scenery would be stunning, the terrain would be a challenge. But nothing had quite prepared us for what we had in store. Join us on our adventure. We were using the Hiker app to navigate our way through the trail. You can download the GPX map to use offline, print off a hard copy, find bothies and accommodations en route, and also break down the trail into handy stages to plan more efficiently. So here we are, stage 1. Our adventure begins at the pier in Fort William, where we caught the midday ferry across the water to Camusnagaul. From here, it's a 230-ish mile hike to the finishing point, the Cape Wrath Lighthouse. Okay, so here we are at the very beginning of the Cape Wrath Trail. Now we've been planning this and thinking about this since February, I want to say, and I can't believe it's finally here. And we have definitely picked the best weather week for it. It's due rain all week, which means it's going to be wet and wild and glorious, but we're still very excited about it. We're absolutely shattered. We barely got any sleep on the overnight train, but we're here and, you know, we're doing it. I can't believe we're actually doing it. What were we thinking? What were we thinking? Let's crack on, shall we? Let's do this. Ah! We set off to tackle the first 6-mile road walking section. A nice gentle introduction to the trail and a chance to get used to our pack weight. We are 1.5 miles down the road. Steve is on wee number 6. Good times. To be honest, with the amount of water running everywhere, I'm not surprised he had an overactive bladder. There he is. Still on the road. Oh, Steve, you dropped one. Even though the sky was overcast, there were still some lovely views of the water to our left. We plodded on in the rain, just happy to be out on the trail again. Well, we're off the main road bit, which is glorious because, you know, we were done with the cars for now. This is a bit of a private road, so there's still a few, but nowhere near as many. It's still raining, as you can see. I've got my Mac on. I don't know, what are you doing over there, Steve? Snacks. It's 3:30. I think we're going to try and push on for another couple of hours, maybe. Not going to do too much today because we barely slept last night, and you know, we've got loads more days we can make up the miles, and it's shitty weather, so yeah, another couple of hours, set up, have a nice long sleep, try out our Huel meals, pray that they're going to taste alright, because that's what we're eating for the rest of the trail. Yum 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 yum. And yeah, just get a nice early night. If anyone is interested in what I packed for this trail, including the 7 days worth of food I was carrying, I'll leave the link to my Cape Wrath Trail packing video in the description below. This is nicer, this is what we want, look at this. Beautiful, beautiful darling. The landscape was beginning to open up a bit. I was so happy to be back up in Scotland. I'd been really busy with work recently, and it was lovely to be able to enjoy the beautiful scenery and just relax. Let me get that side on. They're staring at me. Don't go too fast, don't go too fast, go ahead. Well, my time relaxing didn't last long. We were suddenly face on with a herd of cows. Now I get pretty bad anxiety around cows, so I sent Steve in front to act as a human shield. How about these ones that are right in the road? Come on. Oh, don't go too fast, don't go too fast. Wait for me. Wait for me, Steve. Wait for me. Steve navigated our way through successfully. Well done, mate. And we walked on another mile or so to find a wild campsite for the night. Now this looked like the perfect spot. Hello, okay, welcome to an episode of Tent Life. Yeah, so obviously I survived the crazy cow experience, just ploughed through. Scottish cows are always more chilled out though, that's what I reckon. Anyway, they were fine. Pushed on another kind of mile and a half because we did find a spot earlier, but I was like, no, I need to be at least a mile and a half away from the cows. So yeah, we pitched up, nice spot, yeah, happy with it. Just getting all the bits out in my tent. It looks like an absolute shithole at the minute because everything's just everywhere. But yeah, I'm gonna put some dry stuff on. I'm gonna cook up a storm because I'm starving Marvin. Steve's just doing his thing over in his tent. We're right by the lovely little river there, so we've got water right close to us, which is good. So all in all, pretty successful first day on the Cape Wrath Trail. I am impressed with us. We've done just under 10 miles, I think, so not loads today, but like I say, we really didn't sleep properly at all last night on that sleeper train, and we're just not going to overdo it because we've got all the time in the world. Yeah, got a little bit wet, but you know, nothing too serious. Feet are dry. Day one, feet are dry. So I'll check in with you in a little while. Bye. Well, food was delicious, actually. I had Huel hot and savoury Thai green curry, and I put in desiccated coconut in it, and it was actually really, really good. I put slightly less liquid in than you're supposed to, slightly less water, so it wasn't, you know, really runny, and that was so much better. But oh my God, I am well impressed so far with that. I've got a different flavour to try tomorrow, so I'm excited about that too. Also had, what did I have? I had a little bag of fruit from McDonald's from this morning, so I thought, well, that's quite heavy, I'll eat that. And a pepperami. So that's all sorted. I've cold soaked my porridge, coconut and cranberries for the morning. I am changed, I am dry. I have got a little bit of an issue though. I've just got all out of my wet clothes, and I've got water pooling in the ceiling of my tent, so I think I'm going to have to get back out and go and sort it out. I'll show you what I mean. 1 second, I'll spin you around. Now I've got a feeling that is just going to come straight through my tent pretty soon if I don't do something about it, so gonna have to get out again. Damn it! I used the new feature on the Hiker app to add a custom waymark point of our wildcamp spot. I'll show you exactly how to use this feature in next week's episode. I then used the measurement tool to see how far we were from the end of the first stage. Only 2.3 miles, which wasn't bad. We could easily make that up tomorrow. Good morning, campers. Well, we had the most eventful night. You're not going to believe this. So we fell asleep. About 2 hours later, Steve comes screaming around my tent, "Get up, wake up, wake up!" And I was like, oh my God, the cows are here. So I woke up and I said, what's happening? He said, we're flooded, my tent is being washed away. I was like, oh my God. So I had to pack up all my stuff really quickly, come out the tent, and I'm wading on one end of the tent, kind of like over ankle deep water. Steve's tent is completely just gone, collapsed. Bits of his stuff are floating everywhere. The river had broke its bank, it come over its bank. So I was like, oh my God, so we had to drag my tent up the bank. And I pitched it again quickly, went to try and get the rest of my stuff. And we could see it creeping up and up and up, and I'm like, in the pitch black this all is. I was like, no, we're gonna have to move it further. So I unpegged it all again, moved it even further up the bank, pitched it all. Steve's still trying to find all his stuff. We get all his Steve's stuff up, just leave it on the thing. He gets in, we're both absolutely piss wet through, like soaking. And my sleeping bag's wet, Steve's quilts are wet. Steve had to come into my tent because he didn't have a freestanding tent and his was just gone. It was too dark to try and pitch again. He'd lost his phone in the water, he'd lost his water filter bottle, had been swept away. Anyway, nightmare, freezing cold night. We managed to get another couple of hours sleep kind of sporadically. This morning, Steve goes looking for bits if he could find anything. Found his phone submerged in water, no protective case on, still working, still with 71%. Love this. I walked down about 200 metres down the thing to go to the toilet, and I found his water bottle trapped between two twigs on the bank of the river, and it's a brand new one as well. So we were like, yes, it was the most horrific night. It's our own fault for pitching too close. We thought we were far enough up the bank, but we weren't. Lesson learned. But we've got his phone and we've got his water filter bottle, but he has lost his hearing aids. So just be warned, this is going to be an interesting trip. Anyway, we're going to try and get to Glenfinnan. We can't camp tonight. There's no way we can camp because we've got soaking wet sleeping stuff. So we're going to have to try and find a way of drying them out or get a hotel for the night or something. And then continue onwards. Woo! This is the aftermath. He's trying to dry out all his things.
Well, that wasn't the most promising start to the trail, but we weren't ready to give up at the first hurdle. Today was a new day, and I'd promised to get this man to the lighthouse. Now, we'd only walked 9 miles yesterday before we set up camp here. Glenfinnan was 12.5 miles away, which shouldn't be too difficult to get to today, unless we had any more unexpected disasters. We were in good spirits. As long as we could try out our sleeping gear and spare clothes, everything should be fine. Luckily, I have a big mouth, so Steve could still hear me even without his hearing aids.
We are having a little break, having a nice little cool down, because even though it is wet and wild, it's still quite muggy and I keep getting quite warm in that waterproof. Just having some water, feeling a little bit dehydrated, so just stocking up on that. Got a couple of miles, well maybe a mile before we hit the first Bothy, but I think this one is a private one. We'll see when we get there. I don't think it's one that you can go in, but we're going to check it out regardless. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm going to crack on in a minute.
The water levels were still pretty high and fast flowing, but the weather this morning hadn't been too bad at all, and we didn't have any worrying river crossings between here and Glenfinnan.
Yeah, baby! Cape Wrath bitches!
We were almost at Corryhully Bothy and more than ready for a break. 2 nights of barely any sleep were catching up on us, and we were feeling pretty wiped out. Lucky for us, the Bothy was open. The universe had cut us some slack. We had a look around and managed to get a fire going to try and dry out some of our things.
We're in the Bothy. We are cooking up a storm, making a little mug shot, because, you know, why not? We're going to leave it an hour or so, try and see if we can dry any of this stuff out, especially if we can't find accommodation, you know. We're going to try for the next Bothy, but if we don't make it, we don't make it, as long as Steve's quilt is dry enough. But we'll just see. all the fun of the fair, all the adventures, but we didn't expect this bothy to be open, and it was, so you know, all good things. Well, it's definitely blustery.
After 2 hours, our stuff still wasn't remotely dry enough to use, so we knew we needed to find a hotel for tonight in Glenfinnan to sort it all out. We had 10 miles still to hike, so needed to get a shift on.
Having a quick break in the rain, living the dream. There we are. Coo. Still raining. Still alive. Still smiling.
I think that coffee Steve had earlier was finally kicking in. Look at him go!
Steve. Got a climb coming up soon. Are you looking forward to it?
No.
It'll be alright.
But it's up and over and then on our way to Glenfinnan.
Yeah man. Okay, so the rain is still relentless. I'm not gonna lie, I'm extremely moist, but we're getting to the part where we are gonna start climbing up now. As you can see, it goes up there and then a sharp bend round the corner. The wind is completely in my face. I knew these goggles would come in handy. The rain and wind are pelting and we're trying to climb. It's just crazy, crazy weather, but I'm protecting. Let's do it. Let's get to the top. We are one with the bog. The bog has claimed us. Glorious! It's crazy. The wind is unreal. I'm not doing a lot of filming because I have to keep wiping my phone and taking it up, and I've got my poles, but you kind of get the gist. Visibility is shit, but we're still alive! Woo!
Let's add some fast-flowing streams to wade through, just for good measure, you know, to really get a feel for the authentic Scottish weather.
Well, how do I describe what we've just been through? It's like an endurance challenge, wasn't it, Steve? It's like survival of the fittest. 3.7 miles still to go to get back into town. Because the wind is so strong, it's taken us like an hour to do a mile or something stupid like that. But we're doing it. We're getting there. Woo!
We were soaked through to the bone. Our boots were saturated. Luckily, I was finding it quite amusing. And Steve, well, he was still alive.
This is our path. This is what we're supposed to go through. Lovely. We're gonna have to just give it a go.
Now that stream was knee deep in places. We were on the home stretch. We crossed the boarded up bridge and used the boardwalk route into town. Okay, good morning everybody. As you can see, we had stayed last night in an Airbnb. Actually, it's in Glenfinnan. We did make it here. Sorry we didn't film too much of the last part of the day, but the weather conditions were absolutely atrocious. I was finding it really difficult because I put my phone in this waterproof case and I had wet hands, the screen was wet, and I was trying to, and it was taking ages to even, you know, try and turn it on or anything because it was too slippery. But we made it here. We stayed the night. There was a tumble dryer. This is why we booked here. So we managed to dry out both of the sleeping bags, all of the gear. Everything is nice and dry now. Today is horrific weather, absolutely horrific weather. We wanted to try and make it to the second bothy that we come along on the trail up from Glenfinnan. I don't know if it's going to be wise to try and do the climb over the thing and the river crossings when it's quite like this. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. If we open up stage 3 on the app, we can see our start point here in Glenfinnan and our 2 bothy options. The elevation graph at the bottom shows the 500-metre climb and descent. And if you zoom in, you can see the trail crosses back and forth over the river at least 5 times, which could be an issue as the river is in full spate. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to get to the first bothy and assess the situation. We might just have to do a half day and wait until it calms down a bit tomorrow. But either way, it's, you know, it's still an adventure, isn't it? If it puts us a little bit behind, we'll just try and make it up on some days where the weather isn't too bad, because what's most important in the world, Steve? Safety.
And getting there.
Yeah, and getting there, of course.
Safety comes first.
Safety comes first. So we're just going to play it by ear, and I'll film what I can. Like I say, the weather is absolutely horrific. We're going to go to the visitor centre. We're going to have some food before we go. Just, you know, stock up, and yeah, eek. We'll see how it goes. On the plus side, though, we haven't really had any midges. I think Steve said there was a few one morning. I didn't see him. And at least, you know, there's plenty of water around, so we're not going to get dehydrated. So every cloud, but yeah, we're just going to play it by ear. Let's do it.
Celebrate your hiking achievements with Officially Smashed It's sustainable non-plastic souvenirs. We hand make these beautiful collectible medals for any hiking trail or mountain. Each medal has a magnet on the reverse and a detachable branded ribbon. We also donate money from each sale towards planting new trees with the organisation Just One Tree. These medals are perfect as a gift, and we'll even personalise them on request.
We're also excited to announce that you can now find our products in selected retailers along with our online stores.
We made it to the visitor centre, 20 minutes up the road, and it's still absolutely pissing it down. Look at that. We just had an extremely overpriced sandwich and an iron brew, because you're in Scotland, you have to have an iron brew. We're going to walk under the viaduct soon from Harry Potter. Hopefully it won't be too rainy. I'll be able to get a shot of it at least. Let's go and see what Steve is doing. Here he is, munching a muffin.
Nothing quite like a good muffin.
Good muffin, iron brew, lovely.
Now, my partner Danny is a massive Harry Potter fan, and she was very envious that I was getting to see one of the franchise's famous landmarks without her. So even though I'm more of a Lord of the Rings fan myself, I promised I'd take plenty of clips of the viaduct. I mean, it's an impressive structure in its own right anyway, so bear with me for 2 minutes whilst I indulge. All right, that's quite enough of that then.
Okay, we're leaving civilization again. Back out for days in the wilderness, in the rain. We do this for fun, remember? We do this for fun.
Now, there's a lovely tarmac path that leads you almost the whole way to Corryhully Bothy. So even though the ground and ourselves were saturated, we didn't have to wade through miles of bog and could just enjoy ourselves.
Oh, what a great spot to take in the views. Very pretty. Shimmed up the rain. Never mind.
I was wondering how we were going to manage the river crossings we had coming up later that day, so potted down to this lovely little bridge to check out the water flow.
I'm on the bridge. It's a bit shaky. Look how fast the river's flowing. Woo! There he is. Right, I'm going back. It's too shaky for my liking. Woo!
It wasn't looking too promising right now. Although I wanted to get Steve to the lighthouse, I didn't want to drown him in the process.
Well, the rain has eased up slightly, which is lovely, glorious. Rivers are still really, really fast flowing and strong, so we're still not going to chance doing them today. We're not going to do those river crossings. We're just going to have a nice little half day, get into the Bothy very soon, just chill out, rest day. Hopefully there'll be a little bit calmer tomorrow and we can do the climb and the river crossings then. Bada bing, bada bong. This is how wet it is. Look, that's the path. There's the Bothy, saturated.
So we were going to have to hold up for the day and wait it out. But at least it was incredibly picturesque and would save us from camping out in this rain tonight. Let's have a look at the Bothy. Now here we go, this was 5-star, our home for the night. Multiple sleeping platforms, electric sockets, lights, we were spoiled.
Well, arrived just in time. Bothy explosion. So here we go, our knight in shining armour, bringing us firewood for the evening. This is Alistair, give us a wave.
Yeah, hi.
Yay!
Yeah.
He looks after the Bothy and he's got his doggy with him as well. We've got
Yeah.
Belle! Lovely, there we go. We're going to have a nice warm night tonight.
You should have.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Thanks so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and see how we get on in next week's episode.